Now, one thing that is really, really, really important when you set up your company in Hong Kong is to think at how much it will cost you after, because Hong Kong government and many consultants are actually selling you the idea of setting up a company in Hong Kong is easy and cheap, but the truth is like it's easy and cheap, but you have to maintain it every year. So it's good to know before signing up for anything to know what you have to do afterwards. So how to maintain your company in Hong Kong? You have two main things to do. I mean, there's many different things, but I like to split them in two. The first thing is what I call the legal compliance. It's like stuff you have to do to please the government. And what is there? Well, first, every year you have to pay for your business registration. So the first year as you open the company is already paid. You already paid for it. So you don't have to pay twice, no worries. But then every year you still have to pay for it. It's 2,250 Hong Kong dollars, okay, at the anniversary date of your company. Then you need a company secretary. This is mandatory and you need it every year. So it's not something you just do at the beginning, it's something you need every year. And this again costs you around 5,000 Hong Kong dollars. Then you need a registered address. So every year you will have to renew your address or take an office. If you take just a registered address from a provider, it will cost you around $1,000 to $2,000 per year. Then you need to fill in the annual return for the government. So what is the annual return? It has nothing to do with accounting and audit. The annual return is basically a document that you have to fill in and send back to the government to tell if there is any change during this 1 year period, if there is any change in terms of shareholders, directors, company secretary, transfer of shares, charges, etc. So you just have to inform the government about it. If there is no change, you still have to inform the government. So don't think like, oh, it's okay, I didn't change anything for 1 year. I don't have to say anything. No, you have to. Okay, so be careful with that, because if you don't fill in this paper, you may end up having some issue. You may end up having some fine and so on. And it's not small fine. I mean, at the beginning, yes, but after it can be a really not fun fine to pay. So that's for the first package, I would say, the first bunch of things you have to do. So legal and compliance. Then after, you have what you have to do in most of the countries as well is accounting and audit. So every year you have to fill in your accounting and get an auditor auditing your accounts. This is why you have a limited company, is because you have all these kind of procedures in place to make sure that you have a well managed company and that you provide all the information to the government. So this is why you have to do that. Now, how much will that cost you, the accounting and audit? Really, it depends. For the auditor, it depends on your turnover. The more the turnover, the higher the price of the auditor. For a simple reason is like your auditor is in sole proprietorship, which means that he's fully liable on anything he signed. So if he signed anything dodgy or something, he may have no problem. And with big company, he may have bigger fines, right? Big turnover, I mean. So that's why he charge more when the turnover is higher. For the accountant, he will generally charge you per transaction. Although I don't like this model of charging per transaction. I mean, it's really good for the accountant, but it's really not good for you. So I prefer also companies that charge per turnover. And we at ATHENASIA, we charge per turnover. So you can have a look at the other videos where I explain exactly how much we personally charge for these services and what we include.